Welcome back to another episode of the Even Your Dynasty show. It is Wednesday. We have another day of some prospect talk as MLB.com did their reshuffle and updated the top 30 list as well as their top 100. So we're going to kind of break down the Giants' updated top prospect list, kind of run through them. I'm not going to go like through their stats or anything like that. Just going to kind of go through the list, give kind of my reaction, some spots where I think that they missed on that. And I do think they did a pretty good job representing the Giants top 30 as a whole. There were only like one or two guys that I think needed to get added in, and a few guys that I felt like should have probably been off the list currently. But we did have a lot of movement on there, and as well as all of the new draftees, they had a few of those guys get added to the list. So you guys are going to see some people there. I'm not going to talk big league club today. They are coming off their third straight loss. Disappointing to say the least. It's games they really need to have. This is a time where they needed to put some distance between themselves and 500, and they have once again failed to rise to the occasion. Their situational hitting has been atrocious. The in-game management by Bob Melvin has left a lot to be desired, to say the least. And really, you're seeing the effects of a flawed roster. I mean, there's organizational issues kind of top to bottom. But this is going to be a little bit more of a happy show because we're going to talk about the prospects where there is still a lot of potential for the Giants. So we're going to kind of dive in on that. But before I do that, as always, if you guys do enjoy the content, please do like and subscribe, like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications to get notified for current, live shows or upcoming videos. We do all those on this channel. You can catch me tonight over on NorCal Sports Network with Dan, as well as I believe Friday we're going to do the live show on here instead of Thursday. So stay tuned for that one. I'll send something out for that as well. But hopping in on the top 30, I'm going to run through the list to start. I'll go through the people that were removed off the list as well as those that we now have on there. And then we'll kind of go through it all. So let me share the screen. So updated top 30. Kicking off number 1, they finally have Bryce Eldridge ranked as their number 1 prospect. No surprise there. Then going through, we have right-handed pitcher Hayden Birdsong at number 2. James Tibbs the third, that was their first round draft pick this season, got added at number 3. Those are your 3 top 100 prospects for the Giants. Bryce Eldridge coming in at number 54, Hayden Birdsong number 88, James Tibbs at number 99. Carson Whisenhunt did drop off the top 100 list, and he moved down to number 4 in the system. He's had a rough year, though. If you do look at his home road splits, there's a lot of positive signs there where he actually does really well at home in Sacramento, which is more of a neutral pitcher's environment, or like neutral environment for pitchers, whereas a lot of the rest of the PCL is very hitter friendly, a lot of launching pads in that league. So there's some reason to believe that he could have a lot of success once he gets up to the majors. Dakota Jordan, that was their 4th round pick, guy that dropped in the draft, that they picked and signed for well above slot. He received nearly a $2 million bonus for a 4th round pick, which was like 4 times his slot value, nearly. Rainer Arias coming in at number 6. Joe Whitman came up a few spots to number 7. Walker Martin dropped a few spots down to number 8. Mason Black and Reggie Crawford at 9 and 10. You have Grant McCray at number 11. Maui Ahuna and Averson Arteaga, a couple shortstops at 12 and 13. Landon Roop, number 14. Trevor McDonald, 15. Johnny Level, 16. Diego Velasquez, 17. Wade Meckler at number 18. Trent Harris, who was recently added to the list, at number 19. Jacob Bresnahan, he was the player that they received for Alex Cobb from Cleveland. He's coming in at number 20. Jack Choate, who's having a really good season this season overall, number 21. Robert Hipwell and Jacob Christian, who were their 5th and 6th round draft picks, I believe, number 22 and 23. Yohendry Sanchez, who is one of their international signees, who is currently in the Dominican Summer League. He is number 24. Jonah Cox, 25. Carson Seymour, 26. Jose Ortiz, and then the 3 guys that weren't on the list that got added: Jose Ortiz, Bo Davidson, and Oliver Tejada. at 27 through 29. And then Josh Bostic drops like 2 spots to number 30. The players that you'll notice that are missing that were on the top 30 list previously, Vaughn Brown has dropped off the list, Victor Barracoto, Adrian Sugiste, Kaiwei Tang, RJ Dabovich, O'Neal Perez, Cole Foster, Jairo Pomares, and Carson Ragsdale. Those are the 8 that fell off the list. I'm sorry, 9 that fell off the list. Added were mostly draft picks, a couple guys that played really well this season, but James Tibbs III, Dakota Jordan, Jacob Bresnahan, Jack Choate, Robert Hipwell, Jacob Christian, Jose Ortiz, Bo Davidson, and Oliver Tejada. Now, where I think they did a good job overall, I actually really agree with the, probably about the top 10 of this list. Now, personally, I would slot Grant McCray up above Walker Martin and kind of shift those other guys down as far as top 11 go. I feel like McCray's done a really good job this season, showing improvement in different categories. His strikeout rate's starting to come down a little bit. He's walking at a good rate. The one thing with him is his stolen base numbers are way down. He only has 14 this season, but the tools are all still there, and he's showing some improvement. Guy like Walker Martin, who struck out like 40% of the time, has some work that he needs to do. Mason Black has had kind of a down year. Reggie Crawford spent much of the year hurt. I just personally would move McCray up above those guys. And I get a lot of its potential, but with a guy like McCray, he still has a ton of those, physical tools that you want to see. So I would move him up. This was the biggest miss I saw was right here with Maui Ahuna and Averson Arteaga. Those guys have no business being up at number 12 and 13, especially being up ahead of guys like Diego Velasquez and Johnny Level, who have quite a bit of potential. I would have moved those guys much further down the list, especially a guy like Ahuna, who has shown absolutely nothing, is actually older than Arteaga, who, yes, Arteaga has missed all of this season essentially due to injury, but he has still shown much more than Maui Ahuna in his time in the system. That would be the big miss for me. Couple guys that, one guy that got removed from the list that I felt like should have still been up there was Jairo Pomares. He's playing in Double-A. He's showing his tools. He's having a really good season there. He has a ton of potential still. He was ranked number 26th previously. I don't feel like he did anything to deserve falling off of the list altogether. And I personally think he should be there over a guy like Yohendry Sanchez, who's really struggling in the DCL and hasn't really shown much of anything, or even like a Carson Seymour, who's a bit on the older side and has had relatively poor season in the PCL. There's a few different guys that I think he could have been up on the list over, but that was the big miss for me as far as, guys that are missing. Now just kind of an overall reaction looking at the list, to, kind of the organizational strengths, weaknesses, things like that. As far as strengths go, pitching is still pretty clear part of their strengths. You look at their top 10, 5 of them are pitchers, and a lot of them are up in the upper levels, with the exception being Joe Whitman. You have Birdsong, who's in the majors currently. He'll probably fall off this list in relatively short order because he's getting close to his innings to no longer be considered a rookie, to where he would actually fall off the list. So you're going to probably see Birdsong drop off, but you have Birdsong, you have Whisenhunt in AAA. You have, well, he's actually in A-ball right now doing a rehab, but he was in AAA. You have Whitman in high A, and then you have both Mason Black and Reggie Crawford in AAA. As well as, if you scroll a little bit down the list, you have Landon Roop in the majors and Trevor McDonald in AAA, who looks like he's going to probably be able to possibly contribute next season, as well as a handful more. So another strength with the organization, outfield currently actually looks like it could be a bit of a strength in the not too distant future. They did load up a lot on outfielders in the draft, drafting guys, obviously James Tibbs and Dakota Jordan in the first couple rounds. They also, their 5th round pick, Jacob Christian, was an outfielder. And then you have a couple guys playing really well, guys like Bo Davidson and Jose Ortiz down in A-ball. as well as guys like Wade Meckler, who's in AAA, Luis Matos, who's no longer on this list, but he's in AAA. Grant McCray down in AAA. Hunter Bishop is still in AAA. I mean, they Jairo Pomares in AA. They have a lot of outfielders up at the upper levels to go with guys like Elliot Ramos, who's now in the majors having a ton of success. So outfield, I would add shortstop as a whole. They've kind of overloaded, and I mean, this isn't a bad thing, but they've kind of loaded up on middle infielders. You have guys like, up in the majors currently, you have Luciano, Schmidt, and Wisely all trying to kind of get themselves established. Now, Schmidt's more of a third baseman, but they've been playing him up the middle a lot. You have Maui Ahuna, you have Everson Arteaga, Cole Foster, who fell off the list, all at shortstop. You have Diego Velasquez over at second base, Walker Martin down in A ball, a couple other guys. Feel like I'm missing Quinn McDaniel. That was who I was missing. A lot of guys in the middle infield. So there's going to be a lot of people trying to push their way through the system and, establish themselves there because there's going to be opportunity for them more than likely. As well as now kind of weaknesses. I would say there's one major weakness that you look up and down this list and you'll notice you start from top and you look all the way down and there's kind of two major weaknesses, and one of them I kind of give them a pass because of the one person they have at the position. The first weakness, and this is kind of the one I don't really worry myself as much about, is first base because frankly it's one of those spots where organizations have kind of devalued it to the point where they feel like they can throw almost anybody there. But they only have one person on this list, and that's Bryce Eldridge. Now, because of who it is, I pretty much give it a pass because there's, like I've said in the past many times, there's not been a Giants prospect that I've had more confidence in the lower levels turning into a star than Bryce Eldridge in a long time. And he's just kind of reinforced that with how he's playing at high A right now. He is absolutely dominating high A. He has a 962 OPS. He has a 325 average. His strikeout rate's down to 24.3%. Walk rate's up at about 19%. He has 12 extra base hits and like 125 plate appearances. I mean, he's absolutely crushing it down there. Hit another home run yesterday that, I mean, I sent out a tweet that, like, my God, the ball had a family, dude. And he hit it an absolute mile into right center. The ball, you don't even see it come down. It just disappears into the night. He's just got enormous potential and enormous power. And I just think he's going to be an absolute star. I mean, he's the one humongous bright spot. And then the other weakness over as a whole on the organization, though, is they don't have like any catching. You have guys like Sugiste and Perez really falling off, struggling this season. One of their second biggest international signee was Yohendry Sanchez. He's struggling in the DCL. We'll see kind of how he does, but I'm not trying to go down the BART train, but they don't really have anything behind Patrick Bailey. And they don't really have anything coming behind Patrick Bailey, and they've got to go figure out a backup catcher because, quite frankly, Tom Murphy is just not any good and has no business being back there. So that's a big, weakness right now in the organization. Definitely wouldn't be shocked if next season one of their first like 2 or 3 picks is a catcher. And then let's see. That's pretty much all I have for weaknesses as a whole. One last little kind of comment on the system is I do feel like you have a lot of volatility here. They're not going to be a highly ranked system, only 3 top 100 guys, but they finally have invested in a lot of very toolsy guys that have a lot of boom or bust potential. Under Zaidi early on, it was outside of Bishop, it was a lot of kind of, limited ceiling, felt like safer high floor picks where, they probably weren't going to become stars, but, you felt like there was a good chance at them becoming just at least functional major leaguers. That's not the case anymore. I mean, guys like Eldridge, Tibbs is almost he's kind of more in the quote safer range, but he still has a lot of potential. He has really big time power potential, and has the potential to really be like a middle of the order impactful bat. So I don't really like to put him in that category, but he does seem like he's going to move quickly through the system. But guys like Dakota Jordan, super toolsy. Walker Martin, super toolsy. Grant McCray, obviously, he's still on the list. Super toolsy guy. Rainer Arias is a very toolsy player. Um, even guys like Johnny Level showing a lot of the power and speed down in the DCL. Some of these draft picks they took, Robert Hipwell, Jacob Christian, the Bo Davidson, who was they acquired I think a couple of years ago, but he's played the full year in San Jose. There's a lot of players now in the system that have just a lot of tools, whether it's power or speed, and I like it. I've been wanting more of these guys, and they've kind of loaded the system. So this is a system that very well could be really, really good, or it could just not have anybody worth it. So that it's kind of exciting to look at the system nowadays and see what they've done with it. And we'll see kind of as we go how these guys perform. And you'll hear me talking about a lot of these guys. A lot of them are now at least in San Jose. There are guys like Dakota Jordan and Jacob Christian and those that are still down in we'll call it the extended ACL. So you might not hear too much about them this season. We'll see if they get a cup of coffee up in San Jose. But yeah, we're going to be talking about a whole different kind of crop of prospects going forward. I'll still mention a lot of the other guys from previously. I'll probably bump them down as just kind of we'll call them the honorable mentions. We'll talk about how they're doing, but you are going to hear more about the updated list going forward on the weekly updates. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the content in this video. Like I said, we will have more big league talk coming in the next few days, and I believe the live will be on Friday. So do tune in for that. But appreciate all of you guys, and we will catch you next time. Go Giants.